Hi everyone, if we haven't met, my name is Cassandra. I'm a transformational spiritual coach, healer, and psychic. And I wanted to hop on here to talk about triggers. Triggers are so important on the ascension journey because they are one of our greatest teachers. Whenever we master a trigger, we are able to really sit with ourselves. Number one, learn so much about ourselves, heal through something, and then really feel that pride in realizing like, wow, I just healed something within me that has been bothering me, for XYZ. Because what happens is that triggers tend to be over a similar topic or a similar theme. So on the ascension journey, on the spiritual journey, as we're working through our own things, this allows us to see almost in real time, like, wow, this thing no longer bothers me because I was able to go inwards, feel the thing, heal it, and then come into peace and realize like, oh, now this thing doesn't bother me. So triggers are a way to, when we feel and heal through them, are a way for us to hold accountability over ourselves. So it's funny because I went in the Akashic Records to see, kind of what the theme was coming up to share. And this was a big thing, was like people taking accountability, for themselves, for ourselves, to really do the healing work. Of course, in sometimes when triggers come up, they can be a little tough to navigate, but once we're able to really regulate our own nervous system, then reflect on it and do the healing work inwards, that's where it becomes really, really powerful, So definitely don't sleep on those triggers. Triggers teach us what we care about, where maybe a boundary was violated, where maybe we violated our own boundaries, where we realize maybe this is something that I don't like, or that, they can show us a lot of the things of what we don't want, of what we do like, what we desire, behavior we won't tolerate, things like that. But the next level in that healing is seeing like maybe where we ourselves have been, being disrespectful to ourselves, and being able to go inwards and heal that. So definitely do not sleep on your triggers, okay? So use them as a tool to heal. There was a point in my life when I think it was like 2023, I remember being like, oh wow, like I've really mastered triggers. I've been able to really reflect, pause, and not be as activated by people or things people said, because I realized like, wow, this isn't really, like about me and whatnot. It's where people are at. Until, something like I met someone, and then just like all these triggers of like pending items that I had all came to the surface to be healed. And these were just old wounds that have been really, really deep, in the closet, coming out to be healed. So along the way, like the past few years, I realized like, oh wow, I still have these things that are pending for me to process and heal. So it's like a real time information that you're receiving from yourself, your own nervous system, as to where you're at on your journey. And then you can have, from there, you're able to have empathy for others when they're going through their journey, and you're able to see where they're at, and you're able to see people's honesty, people's capacity, with empathy and compassion. That doesn't mean you need to entertain, everyone that comes into your life. So you can still have healthy boundaries, but you can have compassion for people, realizing like, oh, like where they're at, right? So definitely it's a very powerful healing, tool to be able to really go in, feel what's coming up, receive the information, and then move forward. Because what it tends to be a common theme is sometimes people get upset and triggered, and then they don't take accountability, or versions of me in the past, we don't take accountability, we get upset, we blame, and then we keep moving forward. But we don't reflect, we don't come back into ourselves to see, what was it, this thing that bothered me, what was it moving inside of me, what, to see like, okay, what if there was anything deeper that needed to be done. Because what you'll realize is that if you haven't really healed something, of course there's people that sometimes will be, and you're like, just really setting a boundary, right? And you can realize like, oh, that was like, oh, maybe a one-time thing or whatnot. But what happens is, when we haven't truly healed something, it's something that's cyclical. So same, what's that song, like different person, same lesson, or something like that. So it's true. So we'll meet somebody else, and then they'll bring up the same thing, and they'll trigger something inside of us. And we can either choose to avoid that and blame other people, or choose to realize like, oh wow, this is a cycle, so let me see what's going on there. And then when we're able to work through those things, then the lesson no longer needs to show up, because you pretty much have mastered the lesson. And the thing with stepping into the next state of consciousness, it's not like this little, like, yes, we quantum leap, but there has to be some sort of like the hero's journey, right? There are those like tests, those breakthrough moments, because we have to actually, if we say we're about something, we have to kind of show that in real time, in practice, with the universe, with the practice situations that we're receiving from people in our lives, situations in our lives, to be like, yes, I believe this, I know this to be true, and I'm embodying this, and I'm embodying this. So I'm going to continue to sit with my triggers, process this. And as you continue to do this, the universe is like, all right, cool, good job. Now this lesson has been done with. We don't need to continue bringing this lesson into your life. So using this is such a critical part of shadow work, of coming back home to yourself, because the term I was getting in the Akashic records, I'm like, whoa, it was so intense, right? Was fake spirituality. And I think it's really important for people to realize that spirituality is about embodiment. It's about integrity with ourselves. It's about accountability. It's about really holding that truth within ourselves, to really walk that path forward, not just by always feeling good or trying to feel good and avoiding and pushing things down and being afraid to feel sadness and being afraid to feel anger. These are all suppressed emotions and things that need to be processed. And I promise you, you're not going to stay stuck there. You feel the feelings, you feel the emotions. They may have that off-gassing charge for a little bit, what healers tend to call like a healing crisis, which you can even get from like energy healing sessions and things like that. But then after that, what happens is so much expansion. And this is how we tend to evolve and really expand more into our capacity. Our nervous system is able to hold more. We're able to set better boundaries and honor ourselves, while also being able to go inwards when things do bother us. We're able to communicate better. We're able to be more vulnerable. And this is that hero's journey where we're fully facing and loving all parts of ourselves. And that is what true spirituality is. I didn't realize this was such a big theme until I went into the Akashic records, and they were like, yes, people need to see this, and a lot of people are resonating with this. So if there's spaces where it's just pure like no accountability, it's all just feeling good, and you're seeing it's definitely happened to me where I've gone to some spaces and I'm like, what, this doesn't feel like with integrity. Set those boundaries and know that true spirituality requires facing ourselves, facing our emotions, holding accountability for ourselves, and then being able, as we do that, we have more light within ourselves, we expand more, and we're able to actually manifest more. We cannot get straight into manifestation, which will be a separate video, without being able to fully without being able to feel our emotions, process things, clear out some of that clutter. Because otherwise, where is it going to come in? If we're filled with all this other stuff, where is the manifestation going to come in? If we don't believe we're worthy, or that we can receive or should receive, like, there's no space for all that abundance to come in. So that's why this is so important, that we do the inner work. And it's honestly a lot more painful to spend years avoiding ourselves, years unconscious, right? So if you're watching this, you're most likely already in the self-aware stage and you're trying to do the work, or you have been doing the work. So keep going, good job, and know that this is a critical point. And be proud of yourself when you do go inwards and you feel the trigger, you see what's coming up, and you're seeing the lesson, and you're feeling the feelings, and you're realizing what you're meant to learn there. Like, be proud of yourself. That's when we can kind of reap that reward. It's not beforehand. It's not where we're like, oh, I'm gonna walk this journey and collect all these crystals and feel amazing all the time, and now I like want to reap all the rewards. No, it's when we actually truly love ourselves and face ourselves, all parts of ourselves, and then you can feel truly that wholeness and that peace, because you were able to integrate that yin and yang, right? That the shadow and the light. So That's what I have to say about triggers. Is when you walk this path and you work through that, you will be able to embody like that true wholeness and energy within you. So anyhow, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, don't hesitate to reach out. I have all sorts of offerings, from Akashic and psychic readings to Kundalini activation. If I am located in San Diego, California, so I do healing with horses as well. I speak light language. I do coaching sessions. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out if any of this resonates for you.